जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदनंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदनंदन ब्रज जन रंजन तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jai Radha Govind, Radha Govind Radhe. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. और प्रेमानंद
हरे कृष्ण। तो आज के ये श्रीमद् भागवतम संडे रविवार के सत्र में आप सबका स्वागत है। कई पिछले सत्रों से हमने ये सीरीज चालू किया था महाजन से, ऑलमोस्ट 8 हो गया प्रभु जी ने पूरा काउंट भी रखा है उसका। तो बस लास्ट के कितने बचे, कितने महाजन हैं? हाँ, उसमें से बस लास्ट 4 बचे हैं। तो आज और एक ऐसे स्पेशल जो महाजन है लॉर्ड कपिला, कपिल देव जी, वो क्रिकेट वाले नहीं वो ये भागवतम में इनका वर्णन आता है। देववती कपिला मुनि, उनकी माता का नाम देववती है, तो उनके नाम, माता के नाम से ही जाने जाते हैं। तो उनके वो कौन थे, उन्होंने क्या क्या अलग अलग सेवाएं की है, उनका क्या कंट्रीब्यूशन रहा है, वो महाजन कैसे बने, तो वो सब जानने के लिए हमने आज इनवाइट किया है श्रीमान राम गोविंद प्रभु जी को। सब रामचंद्र गोविंद प्रभु को जानती है, और फिर एक छोटा सा इंट्रोडक्शन था। प्रभु जी 1994 से ही इस्कॉन से कनेक्ट हो गए, उनके कॉलेज के दिनों से ही, और तब से ही बहुत ही इंथुजियास्टिकली प्रचार में सेवा में लगे थे। यूथ प्रीचिंग रहे, कांग्रेगेशन प्रीचिंग रहे, तो इसी एरिया में प्रभु जी प्रचार वगैरह कार्य चालू कर दिए। 1998 में फिर आगे जाके महाराज का कृपा हो तो महाराज से दीक्षा भी हो गया, परम पूज्य राधानाथ समाज के दीक्षा हो गया प्रभु जी का। और उसके बाद भी अहेड शादी के बाद भी दोनों माता जी और प्रभु जी दोनों भी चौपाटी, तब ये मंदिर नहीं था, चौपाटी के कनेक्टेड थे, और तब से यूथ प्रीचिंग, कांग्रेगेशन प्रीचिंग श्रीमान परमहंस प्रभु जी के साथ और कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु जी के साथ बहुत सारा प्रचार किया है। अभी प्रभु जी एक राधा गोपीनाथ टेम्पल में एक सीनियर काउंसलर के रूप से भी सेवा देते हैं, और जब से ये मंदिर आया है तब से तो इधर भी बहुत सारी सेवाएं करते हैं। जन्माष्टमी का फंड रेजिंग, बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशंस, और भगवान का जो वीकली ड्रेसिंग्स होता है उसमें माता जी प्रभु जी दोनों भी आते हैं। और साथ ही साथ लॉकडाउन से ऑनलाइन प्रचार भी बहुत चालू किया है। प्रभु जी रेगुलरली JOSD कोर्स, जर्नी ऑफ सेल्फ डिस्कवरी, जैसा डिस्कवरी और सेल्फ कोर्स होता है, वैसे ही एक जर्नी ऑफ सेल्फ डिस्कवरी करके प्रोग्राम होता है। तो जो नए लोगों को कनेक्ट करने के लिए होता है, तो वो भी प्रभु जी करते हैं। बहुत सारे ऑनलाइन भक्तों को, ऑनलाइन लोगों को ऐसे ही भक्ति में जोड़ा है, और ऐसे कई सारी सेवाएं प्रभु जी करते हैं। आइए प्रभु जी को हम वेलकम करते हैं आज के श्रीमद् भागवतम के लिए। 3 बार हरि बोल बोल के, हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल।
थैंक यू आदि गोपाल प्रभु, आपने मेरा थोड़ा लाइफ का फ्लैशबैक दे दिया। तो वी आर रीडिंग फ्रॉम Canto 6, Chapter 1, Text number 17। तो मेरा हिंदी उतना स्ट्रांग नहीं है कंपेयर टू इंग्लिश, तो बीच बीच में हिंदी इंग्लिश थोड़ा मिक्सचर होगा। जिसको इंग्लिश एकदम फ्लुएंटली नहीं समझता है तो वो ऐसे व्यक्ति के पास बैठे जिसको समझता है। तो अगर कुछ नहीं समझा तो यू कैन आस्क देम, नहीं तो क्लास के बाद वी कैन ऑलवेज शेयर। सदृचीनो हि अयं लोके पंता क्षेमो कुतो भयो, पंतः क्षेमो अकुतो भयो, सुशीलः साधवो यत्र नारायणः परायणः। सदृचीनो हि अयं लोके पंतः क्षेम अकुतो भय, सुशीलः साधव यत्र नारायणः परायणः। सदृचीनो हि अयं लोके पंतः क्षेमो अकुतो भयो, सुशीलः साधवो यत्र नारायणः परायणः।
सुशीला साधवो यत्र नारायण परायणः। सदृचीनो अयं लोके पंताक्षेमो कुतो भयः। सुशीला साधवो यत्र नारायण परायणः। सदृचीनो अयं लोके पंताक्षेमो कुतो भयः। सुशीला साधवो यत्र नारायण परायणः।
माताजी,
सदृचीनो अयं लोके पंताक्षेमो कुतो भयः। सुशीला साधवो यत्र नारायण परायणः।
सदृचीनो just appropriate, he certainly, I am this, loke in the world, pantah path, kshemah auspicious, akutah bayah without fear, sushilah well behaved, sadhavah saintly persons, yatra wherein, narayana parayanah those who have taken the path of Narayan, devotional service as their life and soul. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The path followed by pure devotees who are well behaved and fully endowed with best qualifications is certainly the most auspicious path in this material world. It is free from fear and it is authorized by the Shastras. Report. One should not think that the person who takes to bhakti is one who cannot perform the ritualistic ceremonies recommended in the Karma Kanda section of the Vedas, or is not sufficiently educated to speculate on spiritual subjects. Mayavadis generally allege that the bhakti path is for women and illiterates. This is a groundless accusation. The bhakti path is followed by the most learned scholars such as Goswamis, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramanujacharya. These are the actual followers of the bhakti path. Regardless of whether or not one is educated or aristocratic, One must follow in their footsteps. Mahajana yena gata se pantha. One must follow the path of the Mahajans. The Mahajans are those who have taken to the path of devotional service. Sushila Sadhava Yatra Narayana Parayanaha. For these great personalities are the perfect persons. As stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Yasyati Bhaktir Bhagavati Akinchanaha Sarvair Gunaistatra Samshate Suraha. One who has unflinching devotion to the Supreme Personality of Godhead has all the good qualities of the demigods. The less intelligent, however, misunderstand the bhakti path and therefore allege that it is one who cannot execute ritualistic ceremonies or speculate. As confirmed here by the Vedas, Saddichinaha, bhakti is the path that is appropriate, not the path of Karmakanda and Jnanakanda. Mayavadis may be Shushilaha Sadhavaha, well behaved, saintly persons, but there is nevertheless some doubt about whether they are actually making progress, for they have not accepted the path of bhakti. On the other hand, those who follow the path of acharyas are Sushilaha and Sadhavaha. But furthermore, their path is Akutabhaya, which means free from fear. One must fearlessly follow the 12 Mahajans and their line of disciplic succession and thus be liberated from the clutches of Maya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामीति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदिशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तु ते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः श्रीकृष्णचैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे इसको निकालो वो क्लॉथ निकाल, नहीं क्लॉथ के बिना रख. So welcome all of you for the Sunday Bhagavatam class, and so we'll be continuing with the glorification of the 12 Mahajans. I thank Srinivas Priya Prabhu, Adi Gopal Prabhu, Pankaj Gop Prabhu for giving me the chance to address to all of you. When somebody speaks about Krishna, the person who speaks, the person who hears is definitely benefited, but the person who speaks is more benefited. And I take this opportunity to serve all of you by presenting the life of one of the important Mahajans in our Sampradaya. So, just like a bird, when it tries to fly in the sky and explore the sky, जब एक पंछी उड़ना चाहता है आकाश में तो कितना दूर उड़ पाएगा. आकाश का जो गहरापन है, it is very deep. So similarly, the life of these great personalities are so deep and so powerful that a small bird like me cannot, reach, even touch 1% of their glories. But still, by making an attempt to hear, उनके बारे में सुनना, उनके बारे में पढ़ना, उनके बारे में जानना, एक स्वाभाविक रूप से हमको लाइफ में एंथुजियाज़म दे सकता है. तो श्रीमद् भागवतम एक ऐसा ग्रंथ है, सच अ ऑस्पिशियस लिटरेचर, जो हमें भगवान के बारे में और भगवान के भक्तों के बारे में जानकारी देता है. यदि हम कोई किताब खरीदते हैं तो हम क्या देखते हैं उस किताब में. सपोज यू आर गोइंग टू एयरपोर्ट, आप एयरपोर्ट से गुजर रहे हैं, वहाँ क्रॉसवर्ड का बुक शॉप है, तो जनरली हम देखते हैं कि भक्त होंगे तो देखेंगे गौर गोपाल प्रभु का बुक है क्या, चैतन्य चरण प्रभु का बुक आया है क्या, आदि गोपाल प्रभु ने कोई बुक लिखा है क्या, अभी तक नहीं लिखा है तो कब लिखेंगे. और तो ऐसे सोच के हम जाते हैं. लेकिन फिर हमारा जो इंजीनियरिंग ब्रेन है या मेडिकल ब्रेन है या मैनेजमेंट, जो हिंदी में बोलते हैं कीड़ा, इंसेक्ट, वो जाके सोचता है कि और क्या बुक पढ़े. तो देन यू ट्राई टू एक्सप्लोर. So what is the first thing you see in a book? Anybody? The cover page and index. आप तो बहुत डीप चले गए. One sees the name of the author who has written that book, and then you don't even open the book. You go to the back side of the book and you see who have all recommended them. Generally, you will find in the back of the book some, what is it called? Reviews, yes. So who has, in many of our devotees' books, one common recommendation is Krishna Chandra Prabhu or Rishikesh Mafatlal's recommendation. So like that, so we look for recommendations. So in order to even buy or select a normal book, there is a process. Imagine a situation in our life where we did not go through any process and we have been given the book Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam right at the outset without doing anything probably. So this book Srimad Bhagavatam is directly Krishna, somebody is giving you, ये भगवान के बारे में पढ़. But somebody says here you study about quantum mechanics. For a lame person or a person who is not interested in engineering, physics, or he cannot understand, or he cannot, relate to that. But for every living entity, worshipping the Supreme Lord is most, is natural. So therefore, today we have the largest gathering of people at one place, the Kumbh Mela, where all types of people come and try to exhibit their skill sets. It's like a mega World Cup of spiritual people. So we have been given the Srimad Bhagavatam to understand the Supreme Lord and the glorification of his devotees. But most of us are living in this material world. We go through various phases. हम बहुत अलग अलग जीवन के phases से पास करते हैं. And therefore we struggle with balancing our material desires and spiritual desires. हमारे भौतिक इच्छाएं और आध्यात्मिक इच्छाएं को बैलेंस करने के लिए हम दिन भर स्ट्रगल करते हैं, लाइफ भर स्ट्रगल करते हैं. तो इसलिए हमें लाइफ में एक इंस्पायरर की ज़रूरत है, पर्सन हु इंस्पायर्स अस. आपके कोई भी फील्ड में आप अगर देखेंगे, अगर आपको आगे बढ़ना है, उस प्रगति करना है उस फील्ड में, तो आपको कोई ना कोई इंस्पायर करने वाला चाहिए. सो ये जो 12 महाजन हैं, ये हमें उनके जीवन के प्रति, उनके जीवन के द्वारा हमें आकर्षित करते हैं. तो ये जो वर्स है बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट वर्स है. कहते हैं कि जो पाथ ये ऐसे भक्त फॉलो करते हैं, हमें सिर्फ वैसे ही पाथ को फॉलो करना है. Why? Because it is the most auspicious. It gives any fear. There is no fear whether we will be misled or not. And therefore, another verse which comes in the Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Tarko pratishtah srutaya vibhinna nasau rishi yasya matam na bhinnam dharmasya tattvam nihitham guyayam mahajano yena gathase pantha. So this verse, last part of the line, which was mentioned in the purport of the earlier verse, is from this verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita. It says that a great personality whose opinion does not differ from others is not considered to be a great sage. Simply by studying the Vedas, which are variegated, one cannot come to the right path by which religious principles are understood. The solid truth of religious principles is hidden in the heart of unadulterated, self-realized person. Consequently, as the Shastras confirm, one should accept whatever progressive path the Mahajans advocate. So, जैसे मैंने आपको बताया कि हमें किसी इंस्पिरेशन के लिए चाहिए लोग, मेंटर चाहिए या कोई आइडल चाहिए. अगर आज क्रिकेट के फील्ड में लोग, बैट्समैन अगर किसी को आइडल देखता है तो किसको देखता है? सचिन तेंदुलकर का देखता है. अगर बॉलर देखता है तो जैसे प्रभु जी ने बताया कपिल देव, नॉट दिस कपिल देव. So everybody looks for somebody to look up to. So we have these 12 Mahajans to look up to. Now you may say, कहाँ भगवान शिव, कहाँ स्वयंभुव मनु, कहाँ प्रहलाद महाराज, मतलब वो हम लेवल के ही नहीं है, तो आप कैसे बोल सकते हैं कि. सो इम्पोर्टेंट थिंग क्या है कि ये हमें क्या सिखाते हैं और कैसे सिखाते हैं. सो ग्रेट पीपल इंस्पायर बाय 2 ways. What are those 2 ways? By their vani, by their speech, and second, by their actions, by their own example. So looking at what they speak and looking how they behave. Therefore, the verse which we read is the word behave is there. Sushilaha, well behaved. We have to follow these two aspects of the Mahajan. Even if we don't have connect with that personality, just by hearing about them, by reading about them, by understanding what they want to say, and by following their footsteps, one can easily cross over the ocean of birth and death. मृत्यु सागर को हम आराम से इन ऐसे महाजन को देखकर पार कर सकते हैं. तो आप बोलेंगे कि मैं तो गृहस्थ हूँ, हाउ कैन आई फॉलो दीज ग्रेट पीपल, आई हैव सो मच रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज. बट डू यू नो आउट ऑफ दीज 12 महाजन्स हाउ मेनी वर गृहस्थस? 7. 7 गृहस्थ थे. एंड ये परफेक्ट एग्जाम्पल है कि इट इज सेड गृहस्थ आश्रम इज द फाउंडेशन ऑफ ऑल द अदर आश्रम्स. एंड देयरफॉर for people who are living in this material world as in normal life, there are enough examples to follow. Even personality like Lord Shiva, he was a grihastha. So one need not be afraid that I cannot follow these personalities, they are too lofty. No, not necessary. Just by hearing what they have to say and trying to follow their footsteps. And most important is Krishna is pleased. Whatever we do in our life, our aim is to please the Supreme Lord. And when we follow these 12 Mahajans, automatically the Supreme Lord is pleased. So today we will be discussing about the 5th Mahajan, that is Lord Kapila Dev. लॉर्ड कपिल देव कर्दम्ब मुनि और देवाहुति के पुत्र थे. और कर्दम्ब मुनि जो हैं वो ब्रह्मा जी के मानस पुत्र थे. ही वॉज द सन बॉर्न आउट ऑफ ब्रह्मा जीज माइंड एंड कंसिडर्ड टू बी वन ऑफ द अर्लियर प्रजापतिज. प्रजापति मीन्स वन हु इज टोल्ड टू प्रोक्रिएट. He performed tapasya for 10,000 years at a place called Bindu Sarovar. And उन्होंने अपने हृदय के अंदर भगवान को 400 विष्णु form he saw sitting on Garud Dev. So that is the perfection of yoga. Even Dhyan yoga, if somebody does, as it was, this pastime took place in Satyuga. So in Satyuga, the process of understanding God or realizing God was meditation. So even by meditating upon the Supreme Lord, one sees the personal form of the Lord. It could be the 400 form of the Lord. So therefore the Gita says, Yoginam api sarvesham mat gatendra antar atmana. One who sees me as the fruit of all the Dhyan yoga, Yoginam api sarvesham mat gatan, he sees me within. So God is not some imaginary concept. God is a personality. So even by process of Dhyan yoga, one comes to the level of Bhakti yoga. So this Kardama Muni wanted to prove by his example. So he asked the Lord a very strange request. आप बोलेंगे ये व्यक्ति ने भगवान को देख लिया है. So what was the request he asked? He did not ask मुझे 56 भोग दे दो, मुझे राजधानी का थाली दे दो, स्पेशल उंदियो गुजराती थाली. He did not ask, I want to do this, I want to do that. He said, what request he would have asked? He said, I want a wife of equal disposition. मुझे एक पत्नी चाहिए जो मेरे लेवल की साधना कर सके. तो आप लोग सोचते होंगे भगवान को देखने के बाद ये फिर से पत्नी के पास क्यों जाना चाहता है, पत्नी क्यों चाहता है? So, what was the reason? The reason was his father had told him that you have to procreate, you have to create. Brahma is the secondary creator, Krishna is the primary creator. So he said, your job is to now procreate. So you cannot procreate without a wife. So he asked for performing his service, he asked the Supreme Lord a good wife. So all of you boys who want a good wife, all girls who want a good husband, pray to the Supreme Lord. Don't pray to anybody else. The Lord will give you that request. He will desire whatever desires you have, Krishna will fulfill. And if he doesn't fulfill, no is also an answer to your prayers. Then you should understand that you should follow the example of Adi Gopal Prabhu and Jagannath Priya Prabhu. So the Lord was very happy by this request, and he said, before you even thought, I was already thinking for a match for you. So the Lord became the matchmaker for Kardamba Muni. And he gave the proposal of Devahuti, the daughter of Swayambhuva Manu and Shatarupa. So he said, they themselves will come to you with the proposal. आपको धर धर की ठोकरें नहीं खाना है, कौन, who will be my wife, who will be my wife. You will be given a golden plate and the wife will be given to you. कितने लोगों को ऐसा चाहिए? वो हंस रहा है. मन ही मन सोच रहा है मेरे पास कब आएगा ऐसा. The Lord informed further that he will bear 9 daughters from Devahuti, and those 9 daughters will be married to 9 sages, and then through them there will be procreation. And he also told that I will myself descend in the womb of Devahuti and disseminate the knowledge. मैं खुद आपके पत्नी के गर्भ में आऊँगा और मैं एक वेरी स्पेशल योग का प्रचार करूँगा जिसका नाम है सांख्य योग, जो भक्ति में समोहित हो जाएगा. सो जब भगवान चले गए वापस, तो कर्दम मुनि ने उसी बिंदु सरोवर में स्वयंभू मनु का इंतज़ार किया. एंड लो एंड बिहोल्ड, स्वयंभू मनु एंड शतरूपा केम with the proposal. And as soon as he heard about the proposal, he immediately agreed, and he said, put one condition. He said, after the birth of children, I will leave and I will go to the forest to continue my journey. So it seems that Devahuti was extremely beautiful, and so much so that Vishwavasu, the Gandharva king, he was going in his chariot and he saw on the terrace Devahuti playing with ball. So seeing her beauty, he fell down from the chariot. So that was the power of Devahuti's beauty. After the marriage, Devahuti did not tell Kardama Muni, please take me to honeymoon, please take me here, please take me there. No. She immediately started serving Kardama Muni, knowing that Kardama Muni is such a great personality. Whatever austerities Kardama Muni did, Devahuti did. Because of her continuous service, she became very weak. वो बहुत कमज़ोर हो गई, because इन्होंने इतना तपस्या किया कर्दम मुनि के साथ. और जब कर्दम मुनि ने देखा कि मेरी पत्नी ने मेरी इतना अच्छा सेवा किया है और मतलब काफ़ी कमज़ोर हो गई है, तो उनके हृदय में कंपैशन आया. और उन्होंने देवावती को बहुत ब्लेसिंग्स दिए। तो अब नेचुरली जब हस्बैंड खुश होता है तो एक स्त्री के मन में इच्छा आती है कि मैं एक माँ बनूं, आई शुड बिकम अ मदर। दैट इज़ द पर्पस ऑफ गृहस्थ लाइफ। द पर्पस ऑफ गृहस्थ लाइफ is to raise Krishna conscious children, and no other purpose is higher than this purpose. So he builds a aerial mansion. Ab, if you want to enjoy with your partner, you need to go out, you need to travel across the world, see the world. Devavati had not so much tapasya she did, she did not, she had that desire. Every woman has this desire of going out. My wife has told me in 1 year 4 visits is important. 1 yatra, 1 summer visit, अभी जी भी आ गया, अपना खुद का विलेज भी आ गया, गोवर्धन इको विलेज. सो आवर विलेज हैज कम. वी डोंट हैव एनी विलेज. मोस्ट ऑफ यू महाराष्ट्रियंस में हैव विलेज, कोंकण, गोवा, रत्नागिरी. हमारे में विलेज नहीं है. अभी हमको महाराज ने विलेज भी दे दिया, चलो विलेज भी बना दिया. सो एटलीस्ट 2 विजिट्स टू विलेज. सो 1 समर वेकेशन, 2 विजिट्स टू विलेज एंड 1 यात्रा. So 4 visits is must. So all you boys who are thinking of getting married, be prepared. Do your financial planning accordingly. So Devavati then requested, of course, then Kardama Muni expanded into 9 forms. They roamed the entire world. She was given a special, spa treatment, in today's world, if you say, because of so much of tapasya, her body had become emaciated. बहुत बुरी तरह से उनका शरीर को ये हो गया था, मतलब पिघल गया था. So in today's world, she was given spa treatment by 10,000 maid servants, and then she was made ready, and they traveled across the world in that aerial mansion, to holy places, to non-holy places, and they were served by 10,000 maid servants, and then they begot 9 daughters. Soon after that, the Supreme Lord himself entered the womb of Devavati, and Kapila Deva was born. Now, before that, Devavati requested Kardama Muni, that now that you say you want to leave, but before that you have to grant me fearlessness. When a woman says, I want to be granted fearlessness, the meaning is she needs protection. And therefore, Srila Prabhupada, in many of the purports, many of his lectures, keeps saying that a woman should never be left unprotected. If a woman is unprotected, either people will exploit her or she will exploit others. Therefore, during the early age, parents take care of the woman. During during her youthful days, her husband, and during the old age, she has to be taken care by the son or the children. So Devavati requested for a son, and therefore Kapila Dev they performed tapasya. So ऐसा नहीं है कि आपने बोल दिया भगवान आ गए. So तपस्या करने से ही भगवान का आगमन होता है. So after performing tapasya, Kapil Dev was born, and Kardama Muni then blessed her, and he was about to leave, but then before leaving, he went and met the Supreme Lord Kapila Dev to seek permission. Now, father is seeking permission from the son to leave. So this happens only in Vedic scriptures. First of all, Kardama Muni glorifies Kapila Dev, and then he seeks permission to leave. Why Kapila Dev left? I mean, why Kardama Muni left? He had a son who is the supreme personality of Godhead. आपके घर में अगर भगवान जन्म लेते हैं तो आप क्या छोड़ के चले जाएंगे सब कुछ? हमें राधा गोविंद का सेवा करने का अपॉर्चुनिटी मिला है तो मंदिर यहाँ है, हम बोलेंगे अभी मैं और किधर जाता हूँ, समथिंग लाइक दैट. सो बट Kardama Muni was very steadfast. He said no, मैंने एक I have taken a vow that I will leave after the children are born, and anyway Kapila Dev is there to take care of her, and whether I leave today or not, I have to anyway leave. So therefore, when great people want to retire from their profession, it is always better you retire and let people ask, why did you retire now? Rather than asking, when will you retire? है ना? Lord Kapila Dev assured Kardama Muni of his success. He said, you go, I will take care of mother, and you are assured of coming to my kingdom again. He took Maun Vrat, Kardama Muni took Maun Vrat and left for the forest, and wandering into various places, he saw the Supreme Lord and went back to Godhead. So now Devahuti starts lamenting that मेरे घर में इतने हाई क्वालिटी पर्सनालिटी थे Kardama Muni, but I never inquired about the absolute truth from him. होता है ऐसे कभी कभी फैमिली ऑफ डिवोटीज में हम एक दूसरे को पहचान नहीं पाते हैं. फेमिलियरिटी ब्रीड्स कंटेम्प्ट, इंग्लिश में कहावत है, हिंदी में कैसे कहते हैं मुझे नहीं मालूम. Familiarity breeds contempt. So when we become too familiar, we are familiar with our family members. Sometimes even as devotees, we may not be able to understand them well. So something similar happened after Kardama Muni left. Devavati realized, oh, what a mistake, what a blunder. I had never asked about the Supreme Lord, about him. And therefore, she starts questioning Kapila Dev as per the instructions of Brahma. And she starts with the most important concept of Aham Mameti. She asks how to overcome this concept of Aham Mameti. Me and mine. This is all of us, it is deep rooted within our psychology or consciousness. ये मेरा है और सब कुछ मेरे लिए बना हुआ है. Everything is for my happiness, my pleasure. So this is the conception of this material world. This material world is designed for my enjoyment. People who are with me are for my enjoyment. And therefore, Kapila Dev gives the reply to this. He gives the seed verse, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, Yoga Adhyatmika Pumsam Mato Nishrayasya Me Atyanta Paratayar Yatra Dukkhasya Sa Sukhasya Cha. He says the yoga system which relates to the Lord and the individual soul, which is meant for the ultimate benefit of the living entity and which causes detachment from happiness and distress in this material world, is the highest yoga system. Please understand, whatever now you are going to hear may sound little bit dry. That's the nature of philosophy, especially Sankhya Yoga. So, Adhyatmika Yoga means what? Yoga which is helpful to your spirit soul or the spiritual part of your life. Adhyatmik. आप तो बहुत आध्यात्मिक हैं. You are too spiritual, people say, no? So this Adhyatmik Yoga comprises of three main types. One is Bhakti Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, and Gyan Yoga. Gyan Yoga is also sometimes called as Sankhya Yoga. So Bhakti Yoga directly deals with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Gyan Yoga deals, with the knowledge aspect of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the creation, the modes of nature, Prakriti, and Ashtanga Yoga deals with the bodily and the mental functions, the mind. So ultimately, the all purpose of any yoga, which is to connect, so yoga means to connect to the Supreme Lord. It comes from the word Yuja Dhatu. So whatever activities you do which connects you to the Supreme Lord is called as yoga. And what is Sankhya Yoga means? It refers to the elemental knowledge of this material world. आप इस जगत में रह रहे हैं, भौतिक जगत में, तो इस भौतिक जगत का एक प्रकार है किस तरह वो चल रहा है. The 4 seasons keep coming on time. There is natural degradation of anything material in this world. So how to understand matter, that is called as Sankhya Yoga. The difference between matter and spirit, if you understand, that is the beginning of spiritual life. And that aspect is called Sankhya Yoga. In English it is called metaphysics. The Sankhya Yoga starts with matter, ends with spirit. It starts with the 24 elements of material nature, Pradhan, the unmanifested, Mahat Tattva, the working senses, non-working senses, the 5 aspects of knowledge, leads to the soul, then the super soul. So the connection between the soul and the super soul, that process, when you come to that stage, then you enter into the realm of Bhakti Yoga. Understanding the elements of material nature, you are in the Sankhya Yoga. Now, if you study individually all these things, it may appear confusing. But we are blessed because we got which book? The Bhagavad Gita, which Krishna directly spoke. If you remember in the 4th chapter, what is Krishna telling to Arjuna? He says, this knowledge has been forgotten and I am creating a separate parampara through you to establish the process of bhakti. So in the 2nd chapter, Krishna explains the most important aspect of Sankhya Yoga, which is the Atma or the spirit soul. आत्मा के बारे में जानना सांख्य योग का सबसे बड़ा महत्व है. और हमारा जो आध्यात्मिक जीवन है वो वहाँ से शुरू होता है कि हम ये शरीर नहीं है, हम आत्मा हैं. And Bhakti Yoga is the ultimate, the end destination of all the other types of yoga. अगर आपको आज प्रयाग जाना है तो अलग अलग रास्तों से जा सकते हैं. वाराणसी से जा सकते हैं, इलाहाबाद से जा सकते हैं, लखनऊ से जा सकते हैं. So all paths lead to Kumbh. So similarly, all the various types of yoga systems finally has to culminate in Bhakti Yoga. Even Mukti or liberation is a byproduct. तो बहुत सारे साधु जो हैं, आज अगर कुंभ मेला में भी जाएंगे तो दे आर आफ्टर मुक्ति. द एलिमेंट ऑफ भक्ति इज मिसिंग. बट वी आर वेरी फॉर्चुनेट कि हमको अलग अलग प्रकार से हमको समझना नहीं पड़ रहा है. एक ही बुक है भगवत गीता. उसी बुक से अगर आप इफ यू गो थ्रू द जर्नी ऑफ अर्जुना, यू विल कम टू द लेवल ऑफ सर्वधर्मान परित्यज्य माम एकम शरणम व्रज अहम त्वाम सर्व पापेभ्यो मोक्ष. What is Devahuti seeking in this by that verse? Akutah, fearlessness. And what is Krishna promising at the end of Bhagavad Gita? I will take care of all your sins, do not fear. So therefore, when some practices Bhakti Yoga, which is the most convenient process, we will see in the next couple of verses, they are already gone through the processes of other yogic systems. They have already transcended the three modes of nature. Those great souls, especially these 12 Mahajans. And all the yogas systems, which is the most important aspect? Mind, man. The difference between a person who is devoted and a person who is not devoted is the mind, मन. आपका मन कहाँ है? आप ये मंदिर में बैठे होंगे, आप भगवान को देख रहे होंगे, लेकिन फिर भी आप ये मंदिर में नहीं हो सकते हैं, क्योंकि अगर आपका मन अमेरिका में घूम रहा है या और कहाँ घूम रहा है, घर में घूम रहा है, इधर घूम रहा है, उधर घूम रहा है, तो आप यहाँ बैठ के भगवान के सामने बैठ के भी आप your mind will not be there, you are not there. So why? Because our mind is impure, वो अशुद्ध है. और सिर्फ शुद्ध मन आपको सुख और दुख के प्रति बाहर ले जा सकता है. Neither what is the yoga process teaches that be balanced in happiness, be balanced in misery. Don't be too attached to happiness, because at the backside sorrow will follow. दुख आएगा ही आएगा. इतना आप आसक्ति मत करो सुख के लिए कि आपको दुख देखने के लिए मुश्किल हो जाए लाइफ में. सो इफ यू आर गेटिंग हैप्पीनेस, भगवान से प्रार्थना कीजिए कि मुझे सुख में भी आपको याद कर सके, है ना. So bhakti teaches you very important aspects, two aspects, vairagya and gyan, both. Vairagya how? We follow the 4 rules and regulations, no meat eating, no gambling, no illicit sex, no intoxication. And gyan how? Because it teaches us our relationship with the Supreme Lord. मैं आत्मा हूँ, भगवान परमात्मा है, आत्मा परमात्मा का क्या रिलेशन है वो हमें भक्ति योगा से समझ पाते हैं. और when you have the ज्ञान and when you have vairagya, you can practice bhakti yoga very nicely. How? Through the Navvidha bhakti process. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atma Nivedanam. So, what does Krishna say to Arjuna? He says, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yudhyacha. Anusmara means remember me. With your mind and intelligence surrendered to me, you will achieve me without fail. So mind and intelligence. So again, mind is controlled by rules and regulations. है ना? जस्ट लाइक योगा प्रोसेस भी आपको करना है तो सुबह आपको ये नहीं खा सकते, वो नहीं खा सकते, रात को दही नहीं खा सकते, ये टाइम में ये नहीं खा सकते, तो रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशंस है. आपको शरीर को अच्छी तरह से रखने के लिए आपको रूल्स एंड आयुर्वेदा के अनुसार आपको रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशंस फॉलो करना. उसी तरह भक्ति योग में आपको प्रोग्रेस करना है तो आपको ये 4 नियमों का पालन अच्छी तरह से करना पड़ेगा. एंड टू द एक्सटेंट यू फॉलो दीज 4 रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशंस, your relationship with the Supreme Lord will be revealed faster, because your mind is pure, you are on the level of Sattva Gun, and therefore it is easier for you to understand higher topics of spiritual life. And how does bhakti start? How does all this process starts? A very beautiful verse which comes, Prasanganam ajaram pasham atmanha kavayo viduhu sa eva sadhu sokrito mokshadvaram apavratam. Every learned man knows that attachment for the material is the greatest entanglement of the spirit soul. भौतिक संसार से अटैच होना सबसे बड़ा कश्मकश है. I hope I am right. But that same attachment, when applied to the self-realized devotees, opens the door of liberation. So, important चीज क्या है? अटैचमेंट को मारा नहीं जा सकता, आसक्ति को मारा नहीं जा सकता, आसक्ति को बदला जा सकता है. अगर आप किसी भौतिक चीज़ों से आसक्त हैं, उसको आप भगवान के भक्ति में, सेवा में लगाएंगे, तो आपकी आसक्ति को कृष्णाइज हो जाएगा, स्पिरिचुअलाइज हो जाएगा. It has to be only transferred. So bhakti starts with association of devotees. Sadhu sanga sarva shastra koy, lava matra sadhu sanga sarva siddhi hoy. By association of great devotees, you will get all the siddhis. ये जो आपके कुंभ मेला में जो भी है, उनके पास सिद्धि है. अणिमा, महिमा, लगिमा, कामवशिता, प्राप्ति, 8 सिद्धि है ना. तो प्रभुपाद एक पहले मैंने सुना है कि ये योगी लोग एक जगह में डुबकी मारते हैं और किधर से बाहर आ सकते हैं. मतलब प्रयाग में मारे तो बनारस से भी बाहर आ सकते हैं. हम डुबकी मारेंगे तो सिर भी अंदर नहीं जाएगा ठंडा पानी से. आपने देखा होगा रील्स वगैरह में लोग कैसे डुबकी मारते हैं. फोटो तो जरूर लेते हैं और इंस्टाग्राम में जरूर पोस्ट करते हैं. तो साधु कौन है? महत् सेवम द्वारम अहोर्मुक्तेस तमो द्वारम योषितम संगी संगम. So if you associate with sadhus, the doors of Vaikunta will open. But if you associate with materialistic people, the doors of hellish planets will open. So now, for people who are normally in this world, we need to balance it out. We can't be fanatic. हम पागल नहीं बन सकते कि अरे हम ये नहीं कर सकेंगे, वो उसके साथ बात नहीं करेंगे, इसके साथ वो भक्त नहीं है. बट आप ऐसे भक्त बने कि वो आपके साथ एसोसिएट किया तो वो बदल जाए. ऐसे नहीं कि आप उसके साथ एसोसिएट किया आप बदल जाओ, है ना. So therefore we should spend more time associating with devotees, get that strength and transform others. Be that touchstone which transforms others. So this verse which comes, Titikshvah Karunikaha Surudha Sarvadehinam Ajata Shatravah Shantaha Sadhavah Sadhu Bhushana. These are the ornaments and or qualities of a sadhu. What are they? Titikshvah, tolerant. Karunikaha, merciful. Surudaha, he is friendly to all and he has no enemies. Ajata Shatru. Shantaha, he is peaceful. Sadhvaha, he abides by the scriptures. And Sadhu Bhushana, these are the ornaments. Sadhu Bhushana, the ornaments of a sadhu. And you have seen examples, Jesus Christ, Lord Nityananda. Jesus Christ took all that pain and he said, Father, forgive them for they don't know what they are doing. Lord Nityananda took a hit on his head from Madhai. And Srila Prabhupada traveled to USA for all of us at the age of 69, 70 with just few rupees in hand on a cargo ship. So these are the examples which we are there. They are also as good as the great souls. And what are the symptoms of a sadhu? Such a sadhu engages in staunch devotional service to the Lord without deviation. For the sake of the Lord, he renounces all his connections, such as family and friendly acquaintances within the world. So devotees who have renounced their normal life, especially the brahmacharis, the sannyasis, they are worshipable by all of us. And they are the ones whom we should take shelter. All of us will have difficulties in life, for sure. We will be confused. So when we take shelter of great personalities, we will be safe. all of you must have read that book Journey Home about His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj. So how he was so inquisitive, so eager to understand who Supreme Lord is. So he left his family at the age of 19 years or 18 years, and fearlessly he came over to India, traveling across so many countries, experimenting with so many types of processes of religion. And therefore, constantly engaging in Mad Ashraya Katha Amritsah, Shrinvanti Kathayanti Cha, Tapanti Vividastapaha, Naitan Mad Gad Chetasaha. Engage constantly in chanting and hearing about me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The sadhus do not suffer from material miseries because they are always filled with thoughts of my pastimes and activities. So, hearing and chanting, for whether you are a neophyte or whether you are an elevated devotee, आप छोटे भक्त हो या बड़े भक्त हो, process of Shravan and Kirtan is always important for a devotee at any stage of his life. What happens? You become nirbhay. You become fearless. Fear is something which all of us we have, which prevents us from surrendering. एक डर रहता है कि मैं अभी सब कुछ त्याग दिया तो मैं, we cannot do that. It is the borderline which prevents us from surrendering ourselves fully. And therefore, Srila Prabhupada gives this example of a cat carrying in its mouth kitten and a cat carrying a rat. So we have to be understanding that God is like a cat जो अपने बच्चों को भी मुंह में लेती है और जो रैट को भी अपने मुंह में रखती है. तो रैट डर के मारे उसके मुंह में रहती है, लेकिन किटन जो है वो कभी डरती नहीं है माँ से. So something like that, we also have to be fearless and be assured of the shelter of the Supreme Lord by following in the footsteps of the Mahajan. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada says, be in this world, but not of this world. आप इस दुनिया में रहो, लेकिन दुनिया का मत बनो. Just like a lotus flower. And therefore, I will conclude with the last verse, which Kapila Dev says. He says, Bhaktya puman jata vairagya aindrayat drishta strutan mad rachayana anuchintaya chittasya to grahane yoga yukto etisyate rajubir yoga margai. This process of Krishna consciousness is the easiest process of mystic power. When one is actually situated on that path of devotional service, he is able to control the mind. So this verse very clearly says that the process of Bhakti Yoga, which starts with the Sankhya Yoga process, which Kapila Dev has beautifully explained, but he concludes in the process of Bhakti Yoga, which is defined or described as the easiest process. The word yatishyate rajubir, which means it is the easiest process. Why easiest? Because in Kali Yuga, the remembering Lord is most easy by chanting the holy names, chanting Krishna's name, chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Iti Shodashaka Nama, these 16 names, Kali Kalmasha Nashanam. These destroy the evil effects of Kali. Na paratara upaya, there is no other way. Sarva Vedeshu Drishyate. It is observed from all the Vedic literatures, after studying all Vedic literatures. So this is the conclusion of Kapila Dev's teachings, that one should focus his mind on chanting and hearing about Lord Krishna. And one can thus overcome his most powerful enemy, which is our own mind. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Is there any questions? If there is time, Prabhuji. Yeah, so Karma Yoga, there are two types. One is called as Sakam Karma and another is called as Nishkam Karma. So for people who are starting the process of spiritual life, start with the process of understanding the difference between matter and spirit. But when they have to lead a life, they have to engage in some activity. So Krishna says, you do this activity, you dedicate the fruits of your activity. Karmane vadikarasya mahaphaleshu kadachana. So you do the activity, but you don't be attached to the fruits of the labor. And you dedicate that fruits to me. And that doesn't mean that if you are, you should not do your duty. So you should do your duty, not be attached to the fruits, and dedicate those fruits to me. This is Karma Yoga. Now, Bhakti Yoga goes further, which says that Yat karoshi yadashnasi yad juhoshi dadasiyat tat tapasyasi kaunte tat kurushaman. Whatever activities you do, whatever tapasya do, whatever charity you do, it covers a broader aspect of your life. Tat kurusha mad arpanam. You dovetail everything to me. And therefore, Krishna takes Arjuna through, he could have told Arjuna the 18.66 right in the beginning. अरे ये सब छोड़ यार, सर्वधर्मान परित्यज्य माम शरणम व्रज. बस मैं देख लेगा, तो भी तू युद्ध कर, टाइम वेस्ट मत कर, मेरा टाइम खोटी मत कर, चलो युद्ध कर. He spent 2 hours with him explaining Sankhya Yoga, Karma Yoga. There are 2 chapters of Karma Yoga, 3rd and 5th. Again and again, Arjuna keeps going back. Which is better, performing your activities or taking sannyas? Which is better, taking sannyas or performing? Twice he asks, thrice he asks. Because it is not easy for a common man to dovetail everything, surrender everything to the Supreme Lord. So there is a stage-wise growth which happens. So Karma Yoga is as good as Bhakti Yoga also. But then it is little bit limited. Then you have Nishkam, because you are performing your activities, you are still attached to that activity. So when you perform Nishkam Karma Yoga, you are not even attached to that activity. You are only attached to pleasing the Supreme Lord. Then it goes on another higher level. And then Yat karoshi yadashnashi yat. Whatever activity you perform in your life, even whether it is material or spiritual, all you dedicate to the Supreme Lord. That becomes completely Bhakti Yoga. And then Bhakti Yoga, through the process of Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, those 9 processes, you can practice more easily. I hope I answered your question. Yes. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Kapila Muni ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So प्रभु जी का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, इतना अच्छे से हमें बताया कपिल मुनि के बारे में, और जो सांख्य फिलोसफी जो उन्हें दिया है श्रीमद् भागवतम में, वो और उनके जो माता पिता हैं कर्दम मुनि, उनका इतना एग्जाम्पलरी लाइफ था, कर्दम मुनि और सेम वे विद देहवती. तो ये जो श्रीमद् भागवतम है उसको हम अपने जीवन में कैसे लगा सकते हैं, उसको हम अपने जीवन में कैसे रेलेवेंट बना सकते हैं. जैसे प्रभु जी ने एग्जाम्पल दिया कि क्वांटम फिजिक्स ऐसा है कि जो फिजिक्स का बुक है कि सबके लिए रिलेवेंट हो या ना हो पता नहीं, तो भागवतम भगवद गीता ऐसे बुक है कि सबके लिए रिलेवेंट है। तो ये सारे जो स्टोरीज भागवतम में आते हैं उनको अपने जीवन में कैसे लगाएं, लाइफ लेसन्स फ्रॉम देम, तो प्रभु जी ने अच्छे से इतना बताया। तो उसके लिए हम प्रभु जी का धन्यवाद देंगे 3 बार हरि बोल बोल के, हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल। तो ऐसे ही श्रीमद् भागवतम का कथा हर रोज़ यहाँ पे सुबह 8 से 9 होता है, और भगवद गीता कथा शाम को 7:30 से 8:15 होता है। तो आपको इसका बेनिफिट लेना है तो फिज़िकली यहाँ पे आ सकते हैं, या फिर फिज़िकली आना नहीं हुआ तो ऑनलाइन भी आ सकते हैं। ऑनलाइन यूट्यूब पे ये सब चलता है। सो हरे कृष्ण। तो इसके बाद सबके लिए अभी प्रसाद रहेगा।
महाप्रसादे गोविंदे नमो ब्रह्मणि वैष्णव